Sounds good.
Hello, Jessica.
Hi, Lauren.
How are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
Good. Tuesday, filming on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we're over the Monday hump, so hopefully we're still jazzed up.
Pretty jazzed. Well, I don't have any more work
Oh,
because
yeah,
I'm
that's
going
right.
on vacation tomorrow.
You're out starting tomorrow, so that's great.
Nice short 2-day week. I could do a 2-day week every week. It really flies by, let me tell you.
And you're going to Montana.
Yes. Going out west, rodeo, cowboys.
Are you going to do a rodeo?
We're going to one on Thursday.
Oh my gosh.
The Bozeman Rodeo. It literally will be my first rodeo.
Okay, so tonight we're going to do Real Housewives of Orange County, Below Deck Med, and then Real Housewives of Dubai.
All right, the usual suspects.
Usual suspects. Real Housewives of Orange County, still great.
Yes.
Still going strong. So I think we start we're back to the football game, or we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
The football game is not really what we want to see.
No.
But what's weird about it is that they're split onto two teams that clearly like hate each other.
Yeah.
And that was like pretty well done.
Emily was like, I didn't mean for that to be the case, but it just so happened that teams
Yeah.
got picked and it's like enemies against one another.
So they're kind of debriefing before, and like we get a lot of juice, which is like shocking. I mean, Tamra is fully on the path of like, you shouldn't be moving into a house you can't afford. With Jen, Alexis Bellino, and John, they're fully talking about their gym and how they, see Shannon at their gym. I feel like there's like a lot of discussion in the two like teams before they actually play.
Yes.
And then they wrap it all up and like go home. And it was like, oh, okay.
Yes. I was wondering too, when there was all that talk about the whole Jen, House, Gina situation, isn't Tamra a real estate agent too? Wasn't that her thing that she got her license?
Maybe.
I'm just curious that she hasn't chimed in whatsoever about it from the professional, like knowing it standpoint.
Right.
It dawned on me. I was like, wait, I remember a whole thing about Tamra getting her real estate license.
Oh.
And I think that's what's kind of keeping them afloat ever since the gym shut. I think that's
Just
Tamra's.
her podcast is keeping them afloat.
Okay, fine.
And her appearance on Traders, all of that.
Okay, fine.
Let's not
You're
act
probably
like
right.
her
And
real
she
estate
probably has
careers.
quite a bit of cameos and
Yes.
endorsement.
Her job on LinkedIn is celebrity or reality TV star. It is
Personality.
Not, yes. Her and Lala fall
Yeah.
in that category. They got nothing else. going
DM
on.
for inquiries.
Yes. Yes. So Heather's the ref, which is very small, but Heather annoys me so much. She's so performative. I
know.
And she's got no storyline. She's got no business being there. I'm hopefully this is the season that we start to see Heather move to friend of, because I just think she has zero contributions.
We'll just wait till the house gets going, Lauren.
Oh,
we'll see.
and she gets in that fight with Katie.
Yes, I think we are finally gearing up for some of that.
Where do you stand on the Alexis and John going to Shannon's gym?
Okay, if it is truly the relationship Shannon has said, I can kind of see it both ways, that if Shannon truly has been going to that guy at that gym for 6+ years, that's BS then that they go. That you should not still go knowing you might bump into your ex and you're with your new girlfriend. It seems like purposefully trying to show off. But as Alexis said, Shannon hasn't been in like 7 or 8 months.
Right.
Then it's kind of like, well, if you're not actually going, why does it have to be off limits?
I know. Well, also that outs that she's definitely on Ozempic. Because
Yeah,
she's not in the
meant to
gym
be
like
true.
Emily.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I can relate to this because it's somewhat happened to me when I was in my young 20s. I was dating this guy, and it was like a fling. It was like only for, I would say, 6 weeks maybe. But I was like, really into him. And then we broke up or fizzled, as you do in your 20s.
Yes.
And then Jessica, he got a job at my work.
Oh, no. How closely did you work?
We were like, I saw him every day after that. Not on the same team, but I saw him. It was an open space environment. Like I saw him.
My.
So then, do you want to know a secret?
Yes.
So then, And I was so pissed about it because he was like on the cool team and I was not on the cool team. Okay. I was on the City AA account for credit cards and he was on cigarette brand. And that was like the cooler, they got to do cooler stuff.
Yeah.
So I was pissed about it. And so this went on for a while. And then I sent him anonymously, you could do this through the mail, a turd. Like a piece of elephant poo. And I sent it to the work. So he opened it live in the workplace.
That's amazing.
And it said something like cheeky in the middle of the poo or whatever. Like, I think he understood that, like, it was not a favorable gift to be receiving.
Yes.
But shockingly, no one really pinned it on me.
That's amazing.
One girl came up to me. She's like, did you send that to him? And I was like, no, what?
You're like, I've never heard of that. Don't look at my search history.
I was like, no, I didn't send it. I was like, wait, what are you talking about, though?
I've debated. There were a few times I really wanted to do. I've seen where you can send like glitter bombs where they open it and it just makes an absolute mess. I am always terrified that that'll be like the website that gets hacked and it gets like leaked. And
Jessica sent 10 glitter bombs. I think I was debating between the poo or the glitter bomb.
Okay.
The glitter would have been better, but I think the poo actually went silently into the night versus the glitter would have been like an all day thing.
It would have been everywhere in the office. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm back to Heather. Shannon. I'm sorry, Shannon and Alexis.
Gina's going to send Jen a poo.
Yeah, an elephant
to whatever
poo.
house she ends
Anonymous
up in.
elephant poo. I think that she should stay away. I mean, this is, as Emily said, single white female. Like, it's a little too close. You got to... I mean, Shannon has to get over it, but also Alexis has to respect a little bit more.
I know. And then they, like, was this the episode 2 that they were walking the dogs and they were laughing? Like, is that Archie? Yeah. Like, there are too many things.
Yeah. It's just too much. I mean, it's Alexis is doing the most on all of it to, like, prove to us that, I saw a post that sums it up perfectly. It was like, deadbeat guys' new girlfriends ride the hardest for them.
Yes.
And I totally agree with that because she's doing all this stuff to try and show everyone like how good he is. And it's like, we know John.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a contract with Bravo and we know John.
Every other woman there is like, we've been dealing with him for 5 years. No, thank you.
Swamp monster that is John.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't need to hear about how great he is to you.
Yes. I mean, whatever. They're in their honeymoon period while we're watching, so I'd love to see a crash and burn.
Would love that. What about when Gina like tears up and says Travis is moving out because she and Jen have kind of a reconciliation. They share a moment.
Yeah.
They actually get through it quite quickly.
Right.
And then she talks about how Travis is moving out.
Yeah.
I think that's such an eye roll. I think she's making him move out.
I know. It's weird. And I kind of caught the undertone where she was saying, basically, from the sounds of it, Gina is now doing better. And she made a comment about, I have to do what's best for my 3 kids so that when they clearly weren't integrating finances, basically. So she's like, I then have to make the decision, am I splitting it 6 ways, as in Travis's 3 kids and her 3 kids, or do I only want to split it 2?
I think that's so effed.
And everyone made the comment, didn't we hear about how Travis was there for you when you were going fucking through it with your divorce and probably didn't have those child support payments coming in? And now Gina's like, well, now I'm making a little more money and I don't want Travis's 3 kids
now
to
we
have
have
any.
to kind of keep things separate.
So that's shady.
And if this was 3 months in and you were saying this, it'd be one thing. This is 4 years of living together.
Right. I would be really upset and hurt and probably couldn't get over it if I was Travis, if I had in fact been like, hello, I supported you and your 3 kids when you were down, and now that you're on the up, you're leaving me behind.
Well, and even just to put it in perspective, like, that's as long as Kunal and I have dated and been married. We're 3 just
years?
Coming 3 years plus the marriage almost to being a year.
Oh, okay.
Equals the time that Gina has been with Travis. Like,
right.
It's long.
Right.
That's the point I'm trying to make. It is long. Like,
you're like, let me tell you how long it's been.
Because I bet you Gina is acting as mom to those kids.
Right.
You would have to be in that relationship for years.
Yeah.
Like, dare I say she's saying, like, kind things to them, like, even, like, love you, stuff like that.
Right.
And then you're sitting there and saying you don't want to pay for his kids.
Now that I think of it, we've never seen Travis's kids on the show, right?
Oh, I don't think so.
Right? Now that I think of it, we have seen Gina's. I think once everything got decided with the ex, I do think he signed release. But now that I think of it, I don't think we've ever seen, which again makes sense because it's been this messy divorce, and I bet the ex-wife is not signed.
So what do you think about the other weird bombshell that was dropped was Jen admitting in her confessional that she's never had a credit card?
I know. Like,
talk about what a luxurious life that you've never had to worry about any of that.
Yeah, but just so naive. I mean, it totally tracks with her when I'm like, she's just like this doe-eyed idiot.
Yeah.
It makes so much more sense. She would be someone. That is why Ryan is just like, you are my dream girl.
Right.
You will never ask financial questions. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Hello, I'm the one in charge of the finances in my family. Like,
yeah.
If I came in and my husband had these mysterious, just like, money rolling in, I'd be like, where is this coming from?
Yeah, right. How are we paying
Can
for
I
this?
see your pay stub?
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to know that you're paying taxes on this.
Well, and so I did a little research on the Ryan situation to
yeah.
try and get to the bottom of it. I actually asked ChatGPT to explain it to me multiple times.
Okay.
Which he did a great job.
Okay.
ChatGPT.
Thank you,
or she.
AI.
So Ryan, the big thing that he did is that there's this super successful Japanese baseball player.
Yes.
I don't know the name. And
On
he
the
had
LA Dodgers.
Yes, and he had an interpreter that was his interpreter, like, for living life.
Yeah.
They got really close. The interpreter stole the money from him.
Yes.
The interpreter then kicks the money back to Ryan and his associate to launder it, basically.
Who are like, was it kind of like were they bookies for
yes,
gambling
bookies,
stuff?
and they would go to Vegas and turn the money that the interpreter gave them into chips, and then they would play probably to just wash the money, right? Or give the appearance that they were then going to gamble it, but then they would turn the chips into cash. That's how they quote unquote washed the money.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know how the interpreter of this famous baseball player got to know Ryan and his associate, but I think it was the associate that had the connection with the interpreter. So Ryan, I do think, was probably the least priority out of all of that situation happening.
Because the interpreter is in jail currently. I don't think Ryan is in jail.
No, but it seems like Ryan is up next. Like, they're moving through the...
Okay.
I don't think Ryan's been to court yet.
Okay.
Which just means to me they're, like, getting ready to plan the... prosecution.
Well, if anything, Ryan might be the one to get the deal if you turn. Because you're our
the plea
lowest.
Deal. I agree with you. And I think, he's full on laundering money, but
super
he could
casual.
claim he doesn't know something. He didn't know what he was doing, all this stuff. It looks bad no matter what. And then I'm sure he made the money by taking a cut from it, right?
Yeah.
In order to launder the money.
And usually people don't pay taxes on that stuff.
Right.
When they're doing that, they're usually not filing properly.
When they're already in fraud, they just do more
so
fraud.
then they get you for tax evasion.
Right. They'll get him for something.
God, that is going to be messy, and I'm here for it.
Totally. Hopefully he paid off that house so she can at least stay. You can live in it.
Can they repossess her car if she gets another one? If Ryan's paying for it.
Okay, so then just going back to the credit card comment. So what is your final thought? Is it Jen's? How much are you blaming Jen in this? And how much are you blaming some of these men in her life who have just...
it's a real toss-up. Okay, if she were... What would we put her at? Is she like low 50s?
I thought she's 46. I think they've said
high.
it.
Oh, yes. High 40s. If she had another 20 to 25 years on her, I would say she is of another generation.
Yeah.
And I would kind of say that it was more common for women to not.
Right.
She's a little young for me to allow her that pass. I just think no one, I don't care your age, like no one right now in today's day and age with all of internet banking and all that should ever not have an idea of what their partner, husband, significant other's financial situation is.
Yeah, I agree.
That truly needs to be discussed, so I blame her.
Yeah. She also, I've heard, she had got a really nice settlement from the divorce, which finally came through.
Okay.
But now Ryan's going to take it because he needs to pay off his legal bill.
She's going to pay for Ryan's lawyers with the settlement, and then she'll be homeless again. It's going to be
funny. I mean, I would cash that in if I were Ryan. I'd be like, I let you, you were homeless and you stayed in my big, nice house. You're not going to help me. I mean,
they are engaged now, so
yeah, what's mine is yours.
Watch,
baby.
There's going to be this extravagant wedding. Like, how the F is this being paid for?
Well, they're gonna try and sell it on Bravo. You know,
they are not popular enough to get a wedding spin-off. Yeah, right.
Okay, so we're ending the end of the football thing. Gina and Jen have made up, which is shocking, actually. Like, I thought that was going to go on for a
resolved
moment.
quicker, and I'm so glad because I didn't really want to hear about it anymore.
And it was just a tough situation for both, you know?
Yeah, neither looked good in it.
No.
Yeah.
And then we go on the dog walk, and Alexis brings the Archie lookalike, which is crazy.
Yes. I was just laughing at how yanked around those women were getting by those dogs. Did you notice they all have these huge dogs, and they're so skinny, and it was like getting
poorly trained dogs.
Yes, they were all just being manhandled by these dogs.
The one thing that Jen says on that walk, which also was like, oh, what? Is she talks about that yoga studio that she's working at.
Yeah.
And how her and her associates have not paid themselves.
Right.
And then she said if that business were to fail, she would be panicked. It's like, how, Jen, why would you be panicked? It's not making any money. Like, I didn't get, that was just like one of those financial comments. I'm like, wait, could we unpack that? Because it feels like you're not.
Who also helped her get into that deal? Because there's no chance she was reading through these contracts. Like, she probably has absolutely no idea what her like stake in it is.
Right. Never read a damn operating agreement.
God, I mean, she makes me anxious thinking about her fight. Like, her lack of knowledge of her life makes me nervous.
Or Jessica, is it that she just has so little knowledge that she probably is happier than the rest of us? You know, just like a man takes care of you. Could you imagine?
I know, but she's picking the wrong ones.
Right. Sutton, Katie, and Gina, which is kind of their lunch.
Yes.
Which Katie and Gina and Sutton, I mean, it's an odd combination in my mind.
I had no idea the connection. I literally was like, Gina and Sutton are friends? And then Gina explained it. You caught that?
But they don't seem to be friends. I mean, Gina was invited to her Christmas party.
Yeah,
I
think it's a loose connection.
Right.
And as Gina said, like, Sutton's ex-husband was like the chairman of that company.
Right.
I think from the sounds of it, it looked like Matt, Gina's ex-husband, was doing pretty well, but he was probably like director, maybe VP
exactly.
level. Like, he wasn't even on the board or.
These women clearly are acquaintances plus. They're not good friends. You can tell based off of the awkwardness of this lunch.
Yeah.
And and then to jump to Real Housewives of Dubai, where what's her name, Caroline Brooks, is calling Talina a beggar. It's like, this is how it's done.
Yeah.
They bring each other on.
Yeah.
This is not like, nobody is besties walking into the show.
The Sutton appearance is to try to legitimize Katie, but it actually is making me be like, they're not that great of friends.
Well, also, did you see in the Sutton Christmas party shots that she's wearing really gross tennis shoes with like a really nice dress?
Sutton is?
Yeah, so they do like here's the shot of them at the Christmas party because they're talking about it. And she has on these
I did not notice
gross tennis shoes.
Well, Sutton has those little like baby deer legs.
Yeah.
And I think, most women wear a heel to like lengthen and make their legs skinnier. I mean, Sutton needs to make her leg look fatter.
Yeah.
They look like toothpicks that are going to snap.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
She is the most like unathletic looking woman.
And I felt like she was giving, I posted about this, but I felt like she was giving very old during that lunch. I didn't feel like she was like
young and hip.
Yes. Gina and Katie were like, tell us, Mima, like your ways, your thoughts on life. What is Georgia about? I
would love to get your wisdom that comes with age.
She felt old to me there.
But okay, can we talk about what Katie shared? This whole Katie liked Heather's photo.
Oh God, this was weird.
So weird. And I guess didn't know her that well. So Heather, I guess we'll find out later, Heather's side of it. Heather, I guess, found it extremely strange that Katie, like, was she finding it social climby to like her photo that she then tagged Katie in it?
See, I read that differently. I read it as that Heather fat fingered that and didn't mean to tag Katie in the photo.
Yeah, I imagine that was a mistake.
And then it's super embarrassing because it meant that she was creeping on Katie and somehow got, you know how Facebook used to do that?
Yes.
Like they used to randomly try and identify faces, or I think it still does.
Yeah.
And it would put like a name on the photo if you were like recently in their business, because the algorithm would sense.
But if there was another face, it was literally like a solo shot of Heather that Katie got tagged in.
I still think somehow Heather fat fingered that.
Okay.
I don't know the tech well enough. Maybe everyone's like, no, you can't do that nowadays.
Oh my God, it reminds me of the worst fat finger situation in work I've ever seen. We were having a lot of issues, and this one guy on the all company platform said, I'm calling for the immediate resignation of our CEO, our VP,
Wow.
and our chief people officer. The chief people officer hearted it. I was dying. I was like, did she just heart that message? And quickly the like got taken away. She was clearly trying to read it.
Oh my God, it got taken away.
She liked the message calling for her resignation.
So
Mind you, she has since retired. She has gone
did
quietly
people
into the
notice
night.
it? Like, more than you, or were you just happening to see?
I think other people saw it. There was like a side chat that I had with like other people on my team, and everyone's like, "Did she just like that message?" And then we're like, "Guys, the like is gone. The like is gone." Like we were analyzing it.
I mean, I do that all the time with teams. You know, where you're supposed to react, but then some people accidentally hit the hand raise button.
Oh yeah. I mean, emojis. Maybe I didn't mean to hit the thumbs up.
Those reactions are hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we go back to the episode. So we get through Mima and her lunch mates.
Yes.
And then
Mima brings her dog. I was like, oh, that's
That's
so
like- it's
old,
just-
rich woman.
it's old. It's not even rich woman. It's just old. Rich woman, you would have had the dog in your purse and you would have fed him a little thing off your
a
plate.
steak. Yeah.
This is like dementia walking through the door. I'm serious, Jessica. Like Sutton read old to me.
There are huge Sutton stans on Beverly Hills. I am not one of them.
I think on Beverly Hills she shows charming and cute because she's amongst maybe more women of her age. These women were like Katie at one point was laughing at what she was saying, and I'm like, this is not laughable.
Yeah,
You're just
I
trying
mean,
to kiss the ring.
OC is skewed a little younger than
Yeah.
Beverly Hills, that's for sure. But okay, interesting. Let's see how Sutton appears in Beverly Hills whenever that comes back.
Yeah. Okay, so Shane and Emily, we jump to them. Shane's having a weird pain in his chest. That is like, I mean, the fact that he didn't go to a doctor.
The big gulp. Oh my God. When they were like, she just showed the big gulp moving around the
Oh.
house.
All of it, Jess.
Yeah.
I mean-
and then she opened up about that she does feel like she's putting too much pressure on herself.
Yeah.
And that they almost need to meet in the middle. He just can never have a serious conversation. And I don't
Yeah.
know if it's because the camera's in front of him that he always feels like he has to be this jokester and sarcastic.
Yeah.
But he drives me nuts.
But two things I can relate to. One is when Emily says, like, I'm so worried about slipping back. Whenever I've gotten thin in my life, I always look in the mirror and go, I'm never going back to who I was. And literally,
Here
it
I
always
am.
happens. It always happens. I always slide back. So I relate to that, where she's like,
Yes.
I don't want to backslide. The second thing is like, no one told us that marriage was going to be all about keeping your husband healthy. Like,
Right.
why is that such a full-time job?
I know. What is wrong with men?
What is wrong with it? The
Why
fact that
do
he
they
did not go to a doctor and he's had that pain in his chest.
Right.
Heather Dubrow, do you remember that in the news when she caught
Yes.
that Terry had a stroke and he was
Yes.
fighting her, like
Yep.
yelling at her down the
And
street?
he's a freaking doctor.
And then she finally gets him in. She must have had to strap him down to the freaking like ambulance bed. And then he
Yeah.
gets in there and he's so appreciative that she caught it. It's like, ugh, what are we doing with
When
these
will
men?
when will they learn we are always right?
Always.
Just listen to us.
Okay, so then we end the episode with Gina and Travis, and he's packing up. So weird.
Driving away with his clothes, and as I look around the room, I'm like, I don't think you have everything.
It's so weird.
But explain to me how having two different households is financially better than one.
Though, here's the thing. We all get that this is just nonsense that she's spewing.
But I don't think it's for the show. By no means do I think they're doing this for a story.
I think that she is outgrown him and she is breaking up with him. Ooh. And this is a very slow snowball to break up, because it's harder to say we're breaking up to family and then they have to move out and then they have to do all that stuff. Yeah. It's easier to take the first step, which is like financially.
Let's separate a little bit our lives. Yeah, I see what you mean.
And he to me has always come off as such a like puss. I hate to say it, but she clearly fell into him because she was in trouble. Yeah. Which, fine. I mean, we've all been there to some extent. It's called the rebound for a reason. Right. Hers happened to be 4 years. Now she's growing out of it. Like, it's a long rebound. Let's stop acting like it's like, you know, the divorce. He's been divorcing since you met him, you know.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know.
And was it Tamra that said, I'm so confused. I've never heard of a couple who have lived together that move out and they're not separating or breaking up.
The whole thing doesn't make sense.
I know.
And he kind of called her out on that, which I appreciate. He's like, you got to stop acting like this is for the children.
He seemed pissed.
Yeah. Anything else on Real Housewives of OC?
No, but I'm excited to get, I guess, Heather's side of the story with this Katie stuff. I think that's going to start coming out.
I feel like she's going to deny it, though, don't you? Like, just flat out. Because that's embarrassing to...
Well, how does she deny it when literally the producers cut to the tag? So Heather can't say, I did not do that. We have an evidence that you did it.
But there's clearly
She'll spin it some way.
The fight is about her being a liar. So to me, she's going to try and spin this. And it is weird. What I can't tell is that tag, I mean, was that actual or was that a producer like... They
did a good job putting the little black box exactly how it looks. Katie's handle.
I mean, it seems like it was real.
I think so.
Do you remember in college when this has happened to my friends a couple of times, where when you were out, you only had Facebook. You didn't have Instagram back when we were in college, and the search bar and the what you wanted to post were right next to each other.
It would just be someone's name.
My girlfriends did that a couple of times where we'd be drunk. So we'd be like, what? Can somebody tell me his name? Or they would type it in the...
And you hit enter and you
and everyone would go, oh, no. Because it was up for the world to see.
And that person got a notification. Those were the
That's why I think Heather fat-fingered it. Because we've all been there.
Yes, we have.
Okay, so Dubai. Waking up from after the Caroline Stanbury house party. The white couch is still white. Thank God.
That would have been very stressful. I loved the juxtaposition of Caroline Stanbury talking about her amazing home, and I wanted to show that off. And then they cut to her and Sergio sleeping on a mattress on the ground.
Like literally on the
floor. They don't have a bed frame.
And she also did not take her makeup off, which I love. Because most housewives take it off.
Wondering, I'm like, that has to be last night's eye makeup, right?
100%. The whole thing, the hair, everything. Jessica, it was like fully intact.
Yeah.
I love that because I feel like the housewives, they never come up with the makeup still on the next day. And I'm like, how do you not? Like, I have those moments all the time.
I feel the opposite or the same, but they even go the next step where they've taken it off and they've redone to then do the bed scene.
Right.
And they have makeup on and you're like, that's not how you woke up.
Yeah. I really like Caroline Stanbury for that.
She was a real one for that, as I say. Yeah.
And Sergio goes, you look hot. Yeah. Like, the hair is turning me on. Then they get to the airport and it's clear that one, Saba is there. Why?
She has brought absolutely nothing so far.
Well, she's friend of, right?
And she's friend of a boring ass one too.
Also, did you catch that she has on now the long white nails?
I don't know.
The same as Sarah's, Jessica. They're the same. And like, Mike fell over this because I'm pounding the table. And she's, you know how when you get those long nails, you start to talk like more with like your hands in front of your face? She's doing that more. I'm like, the long white nails are not Saba. They're not looking good on you.
They're not it. No.
And she's not adding anything, so I have no idea. When you're friend of, you got to stir it up. You can't just be along for the ride.
You got to be more interesting, that's for sure.
The other thing is that Brooks does not show up.
Oh my God, I was so eye roll with that. It was so obvious and also so freaking inconsiderate, like, yet again. I mean, she just has thing after thing of, like, showing up late, coming to Caroline's party and not saying she's bringing a +1. And then she's fully doing it to be the topic of conversation and the center of attention and the drama, to not show up to a girls' trip and not send a single text to anyone to say, I am okay, I'm just coming a day later.
Yeah.
That is bullshit. I hate
that was because I looked up that flight to Bali. It would have been 9-10 hours in the air.
Yeah, that's
so they were probably at the airport for an hour before. So basically, like, a whole day has gone by and she's not responded.
Yeah, and didn't you love Stanberry?
Loved it.
She did not fly private.
Loved it.
And then Brooks trying to allude to it's like a man flew her there.
Yeah. I love it that Caroline Stanberry, it's like, she knows. She knows that is not economical to fly private.
That is a long... Like, we're talking only celebs with their own planes fly that. And obviously, like, the Zuckerbergs and the Bezos of the world. But... yeah, I'm sorry, Caroline Brooks. You are not hanging with a man that flies private on a 9-hour international flight.
Okay.
You just aren't.
Right. But then let's unpack it for 1 second. So Caroline Brooks actually didn't arrive that much later than them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She came in like maybe 5 hours after they got there.
I bet she was on a different airline flying economy that left 2 hours after the women in their business class seats.
Right. Couldn't afford to be on it. That's a hot take, Jess.
That
I wouldn't put that past her.
Would producers out her, though, if they knew?
I think Annie Cohen and producers definitely know how she got there.
Yeah. Okay. I would love her to be completely outed for lying about flying private there.
I mean, it's so small, but it's such a big deal of, like, when Caroline Stanberry is doubting you from a financial perspective, you're in the wrong territory. And I'm sure Brooke seems to me not the smartest tool in the shed. And I'm sure she just thought that's going to be my excuse. And it's like, you're dealing with an OG. You're dealing with somebody who knows. So one of the things they get to Dubai and then they're having dinner like crazy late. First of all, I hate that. Second of all, the courses are so small and light, Jessica.
I did like how they were saying, thank you, Lisa, for bringing in this private chef, but why is he making us Italian food in Bali? But there was a bit more of debriefing from the other women of the Brooks and Talene fight. So we kind of got Talene and her husband talking.
Oh, right.
And okay, do you agree? Her husband, Rafi, I had to write his name down because I couldn't remember. He was saying how embarrassed he was that he raised his voice. And he's like, you know me, I'm like a Buddha. And she's like, you are. I was like, he doesn't give calm vibes to me.
No, he gives like New York.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to yell at you in the street, you idiot.
Actually give the exact opposite of Buddha. Yeah. And I wasn't surprised at all that you yelled at Brooks.
Right. And I mean, frankly, Brooks deserves a spanking at this point. She's acting so cray, but not by another man.
Yeah.
And not when you're yelling at her and saying, where's your husband? When she's fully divorced.
Right. And then Lisa Milan, okay, again, you've been to Dubai. She made a comment. That fight was such a big deal because a man was yelling at a woman, and in Islamic culture, women are put on pedestals. Yeah. I was like, I thought women didn't really have rights, actually.
It's a weird balance. So Dubai, the vibe in Dubai is that men pay for the women constantly. Okay, and that's, I mean, you see that on Instagram, right? All these women go to Dubai.
Taken care of.
Yeah, and they get taken care of, and that's why they're moving to Dubai. Like, Habibi, come to Dubai, right? That's the whole vibe. I think in that comes a lack of voice, a lack of, you don't make decisions for your household. Okay. You're taken care of. So
it was like the Sarah convo with the boyfriend saying, you'll pay, but we have equal
right. And
say
he's like,
in the relationship.
Like I'm paying, but we have equal say. That's what I think she was trying to get at is like women are considered like precious jewels, but they also, in being a precious jewel, you don't get to raise your voice to a man or have a problem with life. You know what I mean?
Okay. I just was like, this is not making sense for me.
But I will say that cultural piece of like going on the street. I mean, I've only been to Dubai twice, but I do think there is a vibe. Mm-hmm. like the women of Dubai make it seem like, oh, this is such a metropolitan like space. No, there's a vibe of like mind your P's and Q's for sure.
Okay.
So the fact that they were getting a little like worried about that to me is relevant.
Legitimate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the expert on Dubai, clearly, Jessica.
Yes.
I've been there twice.
Well, you've been there 2 times more than I have, so you will be the resident expert.
Until someone else comes along.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the dancing, they move from dinner to dancing in the hotel room. Cringy. Chanel Ayan is cringy.
Okay, wasn't Chanel Ayan sober in season 1? Am I misremembering that?
Well,
I thought she didn't drink.
I think she doesn't often, but I think she kind of said that, like, tonight I'm having alcohol type thing.
I just was so confused when she got really drunk, which, like, tracks with someone who doesn't drink a lot, that she then was just kind of off her face. But it hit me that I was like, wait, why am I remembering that she didn't drink at all in the first season? But I'd have to go back and watch. I don't even remember if that's right.
They wake up the next day, they go on a boat.
Yes. I wrote, Chanel wears a ridiculous outfit for the boat, immediately changes. It was like, this one isn't going to work.
But it has like, I think she has like multiple outfit changes on that boat.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And the big thing is that Caroline Stanberry says to Brooks on the boat, you know, I think I liked you better before you were doing all that healing.
Don't think you need the healer.
Which again, Caroline Stanberry, she's such a like badass in
I
my
know
mind.
the way she says stuff. I love it.
Yeah, it's very British too. Like the delivery. I think if an American were to say that to Brooks of like, well, you should stop the healing, it comes off like sassy.
Yeah.
But Caroline says it as almost like a deduction. Like,
yeah.
Well, I think before you were like this, and then now you're like this. So therefore, you should stop the healing.
Right. So what does that equal? Stop the healing.
Whatever you're doing with that kook, Sarah, stop.
Yeah. It drives me nuts. And Lauren, you and I bonded over this in Mexico. Women that go to these tropical locations and they don't get in the frickin' water.
Yeah, right.
The amount when Stanberry's like, that's the one thing where I was like, oh, Stanberry, I don't relate to you. Where she's like, it'll ruin my tan, like her self tanner. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
What is the point of a tropical locale if you stay on the boat and just, sure, you get the sun, but it's freaking hot in Dubai, you can get the sun there too.
Right, yeah. You got to get in the water. I think it's like soothing.
Yeah.
And then Sarah was saying like Bali's water has all these like powers, which if you believe that or not, like it's power of positivity or whatever. But I'm not above that stuff. Yeah. Like if there's some magical elixir in the ocean that would make me feel better and look younger, like bring it on. Like
bring it on.
So then we finally get to the real tea, which it's queuing us up for next episode.
Yes.
The voice note.
Did the voice note to you sound actually like a covert recording?
Yeah, it was Lisa. I felt like it was Lisa who recorded it and sent it to Chanel.
But like as in she was in the room with Sarah, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Sarah was recording and sending it to Lisa.
No.
And they keep calling it a voice note. And I'm like, I think this is an illegal recording that Sarah
without consent.
No idea she was being recorded.
Right.
It sounded a little too muffly.
Right. I agree.
That's why I think Lisa gets extremely pissed.
But I would be too.
Right. But she's like, you actually just outed me that I'm recording people when I'm talking to them, and now no one will trust me.
It's illegal in the state of Illinois to not.
I know it's like different of 2-party consent in some states. So I imagine Dubai is somewhere where you have to
truly
ask.
I mean, think of how many businessmen would like lose their minds if they were recorded.
Exactly.
That's why Zoom turns off your mic and your camera nowadays, and you have to consent. It's the whole thing. Chanel Ayan it's shocking how far she goes out of bounds with that.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, we saw Chanel Ayan's tweet. She knows she's got to do stuff for the ratings.
Yeah.
But also it's like, we don't really care. I mean, the fact that Sarah's like, I don't really agree with what Brooks is doing.
I know.
It's like, that's the drama. You're not saying like you fucked her husband or something. You're saying like you just don't agree with her behavior.
It's very funny you said that because Lisa Milan was on Watch What Happens Live and someone said, do you think you can repair your relationship with Chanel Ayan? And she goes, she didn't sleep with my husband. Yes, I think we can repair, So that was actually her example. I it hit me when all this started playing out. I never knew, and I don't think they ever teased. I didn't know what the falling out was between Lisa and Chanel. So I'm like, okay, this is it. Yeah, it was shitty. I mean, granted, Chanel's not the one that like outed it to Brooks, but she was wrong in telling it to Stanberry, who then couldn't wait to use it to also out Sarah. Is it Sarah or Sarah?
Sarah, Jessica.
It's Saba is why I'm doing Sarah.
I was like, it's Sarah.
Oh
She's
my
got
God.
she tries to give off such like exotic vibes, and her name is Sarah from the 90s.
With no H. That's her unique.
Not even exotic enough for an H.
Oh my God, I'm trying to make her sound cooler than she is.
Sarah.
Okay, Sarah.
We love getting names wrong.
Yes, we love renaming people.
Okay, anything else on Dubai? I mean, clearly next epi is going to be the explosive one.
Excited.
And they need it.
But I know. I see all the Bravo accounts I follow. Everyone feels the same way. Like, stop sleeping on Dubai.
Yeah,
it is good. And I know so many people who don't watch it that are big Bravo people. It's like, come on. I don't know why people are hesitant. Just give it a go.
Yeah, I think Bravo's having a little bit of a sleepy summer, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think the ratings tanked, and now they're kind of trying to, like, re-jazz stuff.
Yeah, but it's one of those, like, it's not fair to say your ratings suck during a time period when ratings are always low.
Yeah.
Put it during prime time, and then if they're still low, you tried. You know, I
feel like they did that with Family Karma, too, which we liked. I mean, Kunal's Indian, of course. So, we liked Family Karma. There was a lot to that, like, cultural milieu around all of them. But they always put it during, I forget when they put it, but it was always, like, by itself. There was nothing else that was to watch with it.
I didn't watch Family Karma. Sorry.
And at BravoCon, nobody stood in their lines. Like, I felt horrible for those guys.
Yeah.
But it was good. That's, you know.
You're like, it's just not getting the love it deserves.
Right. Okay, so let's move to Below Deck Med.
Yes.
So we're going to wrap 2 episodes into one if you're really, the historian of Bravo and you're noticing it.
Don't come for us.
Yeah, don't come for us. We're just grouping the 2. So the big things that are happening, let's talk about the milestones. So one is the laundry situation's getting worse. That's, Jessica, truly, I've tapped into anxiety around that laundry situation.
Right.
I don't do laundry well. Like, I'm fully having, like, what would I do? Like,
I don't do laundry well.
I'm watching her and I'm going like, Lauren, would you be able to tell Sandy's clothes?
Okay, what I don't think that they've outlined well is that all the crew stuff has the person's name on the tag.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Also, I think there could be an easy little answer key that Brie could write herself and say, Joe is a 32 by 32 in the black pants. Nathan is also that, so their pants are interchangeable. Like, they keep doing this whole, like, are these Gail's pants? Are these? It's like, write it down once. Like, I do think she just doesn't have a system. I think what's more fair is when guests' clothes start coming in, then sure, you're like, whose freaking top is this? It's usually right when they arrive. Right. You don't know them. So you also can like blur together. Did the person in that cabin give it to me? That is more fair. But literally her stuff lately has been crew clothing and uniforms.
And you got to get Sandy's right. I mean,
I
would literally.
She like got Sandy's infamous white capris are like gray.
Oh, been there, girl. Been there. Okay. So what's going on with the Ellie situation though in the laundry room? Like part of me is like, this is stupid. Part of me is like, Ellie's gaslighting her. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think Ellie's doing anything intentionally.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's not doing anything to help Brie. She's just going, I'm assisting in laundry. But I agree, if someone kept coming in after you and you're like, I left that hanging there and now it's gone, you would be going crazy.
I also, Jessica, in my other seasons of Below Deck, have never seen a second stew come into the laundry room so much.
That's true.
But maybe we just don't see it on film. And now because this drama is happening, we're now seeing it more. But Ellie's constantly in the laundry room.
So this was in the most recent episode. Sandy just mentioned that this boat is operating one person down, one stew down.
Yeah.
They had never said that before. And then they they were like, previous season that we were on this boat, we had 4 stews.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dang. So that could lead to second stew having to help out more. Because normally there's almost like a 4th stew that's like just laundry.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why Ellie's stepping in more. But
I don't know.
I'm sure they're also encouraging it. Like, Ellie, go fold and iron some things while Bree's not down there just to fuck with her.
What are your thoughts on, like, the quote-unquote burn book that Bree's got going on?
I agree she needs to take notes, but she does not. Don't leave it wide open. If you're going to write down shit to, like, call out a coworker, don't let them read it. And I just, like, dumb, but I get it. She's just, like, floundering. She doesn't know what to do.
She doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
She's going crazy in the laundry room. Yeah. Literally, this is her breakdown. We also see Sandy getting involved more with the two of them.
Yeah.
Which Sandy does not... I think Sandy's lost her comforting bone. Like, I think in previous seasons, she would have maybe been a little more nurturing. She clearly on this one is like, Aisha's got to do her... job. Right. Aisha's got to step in here.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Aisha,
yeah, not Aisha. And...
here we go, names.
I'm kind of like, where is the nurturing Sandy that
she has... there's glimpses of it. She kind of had a good pep talk with Bree when they were just down in the little kitchen crew mess area, where she kind of was like, you are here. You can do this. It is
Jessica,
your choice.
that was so... I thought the opposite of that.
I was a little... woo, you can do it, Bree. But Bree cries too much. Yeah. I mean, I am a crier, but not in the workplace.
So the other major thing that's going on is it seems like Joe and Ellie have finally connected. Yeah. They go out.
With their mouths.
Which, why did Bree get into the car with them?
Bree was in it first.
I get out then, okay, boo-boo. Get out of that car.
That dinner scene. Oh, so awkward. Joe and Ellie are sitting next to each other.
Why is she sitting next to them?
Flirty, and she's across being like, who dropped the bottle out of the cab? You know, as they're like rubbing on each other. And even Joe was like, I am in a weird position here.
But she needs to get out of the line of fire, Jessica.
Yeah, Bree's going maybe if I just stay top of mind. Maybe Joe just forgot I'm here.
And then she's doing that British Love Island thing where she goes, if you could just not do it in front of me. It's like, then remove yourself from the in front of.
I know. And she's, it's so obvious when someone goes, I'm not jealous. And you're like, yes, you are. Trying to act like it doesn't bother me. It's like, no, just say you are jealous. It's fine, because anyone would be if you
we all relate to you, Bray.
Him. Yeah.
You're fine. You're very lovable. Now, the third thing, I'm not going in any sort of order, but just
that's fine.
From memory, is that Gail and Nathan.
There you go. That's
Nathan
correct.
Finally full on make out.
Yes. What's so annoying to me, yes, it's like the breakup kind of happens via text on the night out, and then that is when they're back on the boat. I just think Gail is so shady how she keeps going I don't want the cameras to see us.
Yeah.
And Nathan totally clocks the one that's looking at them. It's like, oh, Gail, again, do you think there's any way to reconcile?
No.
You think not getting that smooch on full display of the camera, I don't know. Yeah, the amount of comments of her, I tried my best. I'm like, if that was your best, then no wonder it's ending.
I think you should stay away from marriage for a while if that was your best.
You didn't do your best at not being real up in your coworker's grill.
Yes, agreed. Anyway, alrighty, so that's our Bravo. There's some Bravo in the headlines that I'm seeing.
Yes, bring it up.
So one is Mauricio caught kissing a woman he's fully dating. Yes. And then for some reason, Kathy Hilton has some very odd interview where she talks about how Kyle was really hurt by seeing Mauricio kiss the other woman. And Kathy Hilton was saying, and I told her, you got to get out there. First of all, Kathy Hilton, we didn't even realize you had reconciled with Kyle. Last we knew, you were still on the outs.
Still a little
Third of
icy.
all, Kathy Hilton, do you not realize that Kyle has been fully dating a woman for the last year and a half.
I know. That's where I total eye roll when I heard the Kyle's really hurt by that. So maybe in a way Kyle has kept her relationship because we have never seen a photo of her and Morgan Wade kissing.
Right.
But like they're together at all times.
I heard a theory.
And
I think it was on Nick.
They dress alike. Like,
yeah.
They're dating.
They're clearly doing more than just friends. I heard a theory on Nick Vital's podcast. Vial, thank you. That this is going to be her storyline this season. So she's got to put breadcrumbs out in the press that
it's going to be her fighting with Mauricio.
Or her sad about the situation that her marriage is ending.
Yeah.
Which she was already kind of that, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah.
But she can't be like moved on if that's going to be her storyline. So that's why Kathy's laying that groundwork. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we're going to move to what are the kids talking about these days?
Yes. So this one about Gen Z and some of their different dating habits compared to us millennials. Interestingly, in a Pew Research study, Gen Z are increasingly prioritizing self-care. So they said, whereas millennials listed getting married as 4th on a priority list for long-term goals, Gen Z put that at 10th. I think we have to take that with a grain of salt because millennials are also older.
Right.
So you probably are prioritizing getting married in the near future if you're of our age and generation. So I take that with a grain of salt. But Tinder did this whole big thing. It's really interesting. I didn't know they do it. It's a riff off of the Spotify Unwrapped. So they did a year or swipe and review. So for the whole year, they pulled together. They have really interesting statistics, like what country are least likely to ghost. So they can tell when a message just stops being answered. Chicago was number 2 for quickest replies of globally.
Wow.
Chicago was up there. I think it was somewhere in South Korea was one or something.
Wow.
And again, this is only Tinder. This is not all dating apps, but I thought that was interesting. But because of this whole Gen Z prioritizing self-care, it said Gen Z will most likely have the most successful marriages because of this personal development. It's kind of like you have to love yourself first and get in a good, okay, Lauren's rolling her eyes, but they're very much prioritizing, like, I need to be in a good headspace before getting into this, where I do think there were lots of times I was not in a good headspace going through the dating, like, grind. It was like, I was getting pissed off sometimes. I was literally getting ready for dates and I was like mad. I was like, why do I have to keep doing this? I remember telling my mom, because let's face it, that was another big thing they found. Tons of Gen Zers are like mostly sober, say they barely drink, versus millennials, of course. Like binge drinking was kind of the peak for our generation. But like every date for me involved drinking. So I was getting mad when I was going on 2 or 3 a week. I'm like, Mom, I don't even want to drink tonight, but I have to. I'm not going to go and have water with this guy at a bar. So I was getting like upset. So clearly I wasn't in the right headspace. No wonder I didn't meet anyone during those years.
Jessica, I just think this is all coded as like Gen Z is like too involved with themselves.
Okay. Yeah. It tracks.
I don't think it's like, oh, I'm trying to get myself into a good headspace. It's like I have, high anxiety and therefore I don't feel like I can date properly. Like, okay. I just feel like the Gen Z generation talks a lot about like mental health a lot more than what any other generation does. Not for worse, maybe for better, but so then to be like, oh, I'm very like, I need to prioritize taking care of me. Like it tracks with like who they are.
Yes.
In a bad way, I feel
they're
like.
Self-absorbed.
Yes.
They're trying to spin it positively like I'm improving myself.
And self-care, I bet you a lot of those Gen Zers click that and they meant facials and teeth whitening and going to the gym.
The non-invasive treatments we talked about have really picked up.
The fillers.
Yeah.
right?
That is self-care, allegedly.
It doesn't have to mean I'm working on myself mentally.
Yes, but it'll be interesting as the years go by. Let's see how the divorce rates are for Gen Zers if they ever get married, since it's very low on their priority list.
Yeah, good for them. We all felt the pressure. They should feel it too. Okay, let's do some conspiracy theories.
Yes.
So the Olympics, we have to touch on it.
Yes, please.
Okay, so did you watch the Olympics opening ceremony?
I did not.
Okay, it was a weird one. So let me just say a couple things. First of all, most of the opening ceremonies are held within a stadium.
Yeah.
So it's contained within a stadium. Paris decided to do it differently. They held it throughout the city of Paris.
Yes, mostly on the river.
Yes.
Right.
And so, like other countries, Tokyo, I can't even remember. Atlanta was 1996. You know, like they're much more about like the lights and the technology and showing a little bit of history along the way. France and Paris was much more about, you know, the curated arts that come out of Paris. Okay.
Yeah.
So Louis Vuitton was like on display, which when is another country even showed a designer brand is like their key part. It was all like Les Miserables.
Blah, blah, blah. You can tell we didn't take French.
You know, and so anyway, one of the things they were showing was a fashion show, and this was supposed to be in relation to Paris Fashion Week is always like a big deal.
Yes.
But it was not a well done fashion show. That was the weird part. It was like you felt like there's too little people. They were all kind of drag queen like, which I know nothing against drag queens, but it wasn't fashion. It was like like characterizing of it. Okay. So anyway, at the end of this fashion show, so picture it, there's a big long white runway. There's a DJ who doesn't really move that much. She's kind of like, due to her size, I think she's kind of just standing there. Okay. And then the drag queens or others, right, come in around this DJ, and there's a shot that's taken of all of them, and it reads as The Last Supper.
Okay, I've seen people the outrage about the reenactment and how disrespectful it was.
Let me say a couple things. So one is it's not the exact same replica. Like it's not the same number of people as the last summer. The people are facing different ways.
When you watched it live, did it strike you as this is what they're going for?
There was definitely a move of trying to shock.
Okay.
Because in the opening ceremony, there again, prime time, families watching. There was a moment where the guy who's holding the torch runs into a building, and it seems to be a throuple that is happening, and they shut the door. So it's like the camera zooms in on three people who are lovers in Paris, because I think that's supposed to be that vibe, and they shut the door to like kick the camera out.
Okay.
So it was definitely, I feel like it was having a Balenciaga moment where it's like they thought they were doing X, and then now huge conspiracy theorists going on, right? That they were showing the Last Supper. The Last Supper, and religious folk are really pissed off by it. Yeah. That it was very like degrading to that. So much so that the next couple of days there's a huge group that went out and prayed in Paris. Okay. With like candles. All right. With like the highest order of whoever was there. Bishop, I know it's not the Pope, but it's like a cardinal. Yeah. They prayed. One thing that I just drives me absolutely nuts with this stuff is like, again, similar to Balenciaga stuff, like clearly mistakes were made during that. When you produce these big shows, like I used to work in advertising, the amount of reviews and approvals that all this stuff has to have. Right. And believe me, you smoke your own supply a lot of times in these like art worlds, meaning like you get your head up your own ass and you think
that everyone's a yes man.
And you think what you're doing is absolutely right and makes perfect sense. I remember once in advertising, we released signage that had the word Hanukkah spelled wrong. And like 45 people had looked at that word, you know, and you just get so up your own, you know, ass that you can't figure out that someone may view that differently. In our case, it was actually quite binary. It wasn't a interpretation.
Wasn't really up for debate if it was spelled wrong.
But you do get like, wow, this is so good, and you forget that other people may have other perspectives. So who knows? But the conspiracy, to land the plane, conspiracy theorists think that this was another act of media playing out kind of not religious, devil-like,
devil worship,
degrading religion type things, and they're doing it in plain sight in front of us all during the Olympic ceremony. Yeah. That's the conspiracy theory. Okay, number 2 conspiracy theory. Oh wow. Is much more funny. I think it's hilarious, but it has to do with politics. So Biden had COVID and he went away for like 5 days, and then he like came out to do a press conference.
Oh wait, I think I know.
And he looks really tall.
He looked taller, yes.
Like 5 inches, Jessica.
Okay.
Like towers over Joe Biden, which he usually doesn't tower. He's like a couple inches taller than her. So now there's this whole group of conspiracy theorists, and they're all trying to catch like extra tall Joe Biden in action. And they have all these shots of him, and I think it was a weird camera angle. I do not think he was actually 5 inches taller.
I was gonna say, is the theory that he's dead and this is a body double?
It gets weird. It's like it's this clone, and you know they've regrown Joe Biden to a better model. You know, they've reprogrammed him.
Well, they should have made him younger while they were at it if they were going to make him taller.
I just think it's hilarious because now it's kind of meme-y, kind of real, where people are trying to catch him being taller than what he is. And every shot is like, okay, guys, he's standing on a hill there. Okay, guys, he's standing in the foreground and Joe Biden's in the background, you know. But it's just so funny to me that
he has lifts in his shoes.
Yeah.
She's in flats.
Maybe he is wearing a little higher of a shoe. We saw Brock do that. Yeah. Brock's worn heels before.
Wasn't it Ron DeSantis got made fun of? He was always wearing those like crocodile boots that had quite the heel going.
Big heel. So I just think it's funny. That one's clearly not true. I don't think the Olympics one is true either. I just think some, mastermind got a little, had some unfortunate events happen.
When however many million people across the globe watch something, someone's going to be pissed off about something.
100%.
It's like everyone loves to complain. Right?
Anyway, Jessica, it was great talking to you.
You too, Lauren.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.